All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Friday, May 20th, 2022. This morning, we're going to talk about learning to juggle, not in the literal sense, but what you have to do in order to be able to do bigger things and more things and grow in your life is that you have to learn how to juggle. And I'm going to talk to you guys about how I have learned to take on more things and to be able to do that successfully. I'm going to tell you guys the process that I've gone through and how many times I've fallen down, how many times I felt overwhelmed, all that kind of stuff. And it is just all part of the process of growth and leaning into what you actually want in your life. You got to figure out how to do more things at one time. And so there's a lot of challenges, a lot of tribulations that come with that. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Happy Friday to you. Hope you guys are off to an awesome start this morning. I certainly am. Got up, got a workout in, talked to my boy Daniel Good. There he is in the comments. I saw Daniel Good over there on Clubhouse. I said, man, I'm going to give this dude a call instead of listening to Clubhouse. We might as well catch up and chop it up for a little bit. What a great way to start my Friday morning. I hope you guys are prepared for this one, because this is one that I think will in some ways challenge your thinking, but in a lot of ways it will give you peace of, kind of how all of this works. Because I know for me, it took me a long time to process, exactly what it meant to do more, to have more on your plate, really learning how to juggle a lot of different things. And so it's one of the questions and inquiries that I get the most is like, how do you balance everything between family and multiple businesses and all the things that we've got going on? And inside of those multiple businesses, everything is growing at a very rapid rate. And so that presents a lot of challenges, right? And how you face those challenges really matters. And so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the things that I've learned. Some I've learned the hard way, but how I've learned to kind of balance all of this and how what my day looks like and how I try to juggle everything that I've got going on. And I've been able to be pretty successful at it. Not by any means am I perfect at it, but I've learned a lot over the past few years of how to do a lot of things at once. And so that's what we're going to talk about this morning. But I want to first and foremost say good morning to everybody. Christina, what's happening? Steve Flaherty, out like a lion, brother, as always. Todd Gurrell just got off the phone with Todd. John Rugg, what's happening, brother? Michael Bonetto, David Martin, Dan Hill, Vinny, what's happening, man? Daniel Good, I love those lions in the comments, man. Daniel's over on YouTube there. Ed, good morning. And Dan Hill, what's happening, brother? Good morning to you. Thanks for being the first one on here, man. This is a great topic to talk about on a Friday for a variety of reasons. One of the things that I love about Fridays is it's like a conclusion to the week, right? And most of the time, there's a lot of things that are going on throughout the week that we're trying to close out. And so this is a day that sometimes presents the most challenges when it comes to juggling, right? Because there's so many things going on and people trying to finish things up, people trying to, kind of check off their list as they get to the end of the week. And so I am on the receiving end of a lot of those phone calls, follow-ups, et cetera, or conversations about how to deal with some of those things. So when I look back at, 4 years ago, to give you guys some insight, 4 years ago, in March was when I decided to become an entrepreneur, to step out and open a business. And I didn't just open one business, but also had Top Contractor School. So the Pavement Group started March 28th of 2018, and Top Contractor School was founded right around the same time. And so at that time, it wasn't that big of a deal because neither one of those things was really that busy, right? We were working hard and we were, trying to serve as many people and trying to make an impact, but neither one of those things was all that involved. And then fast forward into 2020, and we added Lead Revenue, the digital marketing company that I am part of. And, all of those things combined together really, and then add in, multiple children. I had more children since we started the companies. And so it presents a lot of challenge when it comes to balance, where you spend your time, how you learn to juggle all of these different things. And so as those businesses started to grow, as my time was more, requested and needed in different places, learning how to balance all of that, learning how to juggle all of those different things became a real challenge, right? And I use this analogy a lot because I think it's easy to understand. When you're looking at how many different things can I do, first and foremost, I would say be careful about how many different things you do. The one thing that I was intentional about is that the things that I got into were all related to the same industry. So they were all related to construction. So a lot of the people that I'm talking to in these different businesses are a lot of the same people. So that really helps, right? Where my attention is going to different places, but it's with a lot of the same people, and those things kind of complement each other. So be careful if you're thinking about doing things that are very different, because you're serving different people. It's a completely different mission. It's completely different clients. But if you do it in the same lane, it's a little bit easier to manage, right? It's a little bit easier to be able to do multiple things at once. But with that said, I use this analogy a lot because I think it makes a lot of sense. If you were to actually learn how to literally juggle, like with balls, like the circus, you wouldn't start out with, 5 balls, right? You would start out with 2 and then 3. And as you get more comfortable, it gets a little bit easier to do that, right? It gets a little bit easier to add another ball and to be able to keep that going without dropping one of the balls. What I see a lot of times today in watching people try to do this on social media, try to open multiple businesses or try to do different things, is that their attention is spread all over the place and into different areas, right? They've got so many different things that are unrelated that it presents a real challenge. And so my advice to anybody that's doing multiple things is learn how to juggle one ball at a time, right? Don't add all of them in. In fact, I say a lot of times, looking back on it, if I were to do it over, I would not recommend to anybody starting multiple businesses at the same time, because luckily for me, it all worked out, but may not be the case for everybody. In fact, I would argue that the percentage chances that actually create success in all of those areas is probably pretty low. So how do you do it? Well, the first thing that I would say is that you have to be incredibly disciplined and incredibly organized. To be able to learn how to juggle multiple things, you have to be very organized, very disciplined, and you have to really, third and maybe most importantly, you have to learn how to really be present where your feet are. Whatever it is that you're working on in that moment, you can't be distracted all the time from this other thing. And so putting your focus into one singular location at a time as often as possible, that is one of the keys, right? And so then it's being organized, knowing how much time you actually have to spend in different areas of your life. That is important too. For me, everything is planned out from a business standpoint. Like Sunday nights, I plan out the week. I write down everything that I have to do. I make a to-do list every day. I know exactly what I have to do every single day in order to make that day successful. And this is a really important point for everybody. If you do not make a to-do list, if you are not organized and you don't know what you actually have to accomplish this week, it will mentally mess you up because you will not feel successful. Let me repeat that again. If you do not have a list and you do not accomplish the things on that list, you will eventually not feel successful. You will not feel fulfilled. You will not feel like you're actually making progress. However, if you set goals and you have a to-do list and you have everything organized that you need to accomplish, when I get home every day and I walk into my house and my kids come running and they're excited to see dad, it's rare that I have something on my mind that I still need to accomplish. So I can be present with them and I can focus on being happy to see them just like they're happy to see me. This is one of the keys to life, guys. Is if you do not have an organized day, how do you measure success? How do you measure progress? How do you feel fulfilled? How do you feel like you're getting a lot of things done? This is one of the biggest misses that I see people do is they create some level of success because they're just talented and smart and they work hard, but they're not really organized or disciplined, and they don't think about what it actually takes in order for them to feel successful, not to be successful, not to have money in your bank account, not to be able to build a business that produces income and profit that you can pay people in, but for you to truly feel successful. And once you learn how to do that, once you can organize yourself, you figure out pretty quickly that you have a lot more bandwidth than you thought you did. And so when you learn how to juggle different things, that sometimes comes from your ability to organize yourself and realize how much bandwidth you have. Now, for me, it was the opposite because I created these businesses in advance, not thinking about how much it was going to take, how much from a discipline, organization, all that kind of stuff standpoint. And so I had to get organized, get disciplined, learn how to juggle different things, because as these businesses grew, it took more and more of my attention in order to be able to do that. And so I encourage you guys to think about that. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how organized are you? How disciplined are you when it comes to getting things done? And by the way, that's a up and down measurement that's going to change throughout your life. At one point in your life, you're going to be super disciplined. Next week, it might not be a good week. There might be a lot of things thrown at you that take you off your game, and you get undisciplined again, and then you fall off the wagon, and you got to work at it to get back on it again. That happens to all of us. But when you can get disciplined, when you can get intentional, when you can figure out exactly how much time you need to spend in each bucket of your life, anything's possible. You can have multiple businesses and be present with your family. You can go out for date night with your wife every single week. You can juggle all of these things and create the life that you want. And ultimately, that is success. It's not about money, guys. It's not about the things that everybody around us, sometimes makes us believe create success. It's being happy. It's learning to juggle those things that you really enjoy, whether that's, something at your church, whether that's something in your personal life, making the time to go out on date night with your spouse. That's an important thing for me, to spend time with my wife. It wasn't always something that we were able to accomplish. We figured it out. We learned how to juggle. And so it's about being present and aware of what is going on. It's not easy, guys. There are things in my life right now that I am trying to fix because I've created, all this stuff, as I referred to it, this big, beautiful mess that we've created. We got to learn how to fix it. We got to learn how to juggle. And we got to learn how to do all of these things at the same time. But it is all possible once you are intentional with your time, once you're disciplined and organized, and you start to figure out how much you are actually capable of. It's pretty amazing what we can accomplish in a day. The old quote says, we way overestimate what we can complete in a day, and we way underestimate what we can complete in a month or a year or a couple of years. So what are you expecting to accomplish today? Do you actually have a plan? As you go into this Friday, we talk every single week about going out like a lion, not going out like a mouse. Well, going out like a lion, man, requires a plan. It requires you to have a strategy of how you're actually going to function. And for most of you, you're functioning in an environment that is very busy. There's a lot of things going on. We got a lot of things to do, personally, professionally. I could tell you this, like I look around at what we've got to do here at the Pavement Group, and I'm like, man, we got a lot of stuff to do, but we got a lot of people getting a lot of stuff done. We are productive. We've created an environment, of performance. How does that happen? Well, we've created systems that help people get organized, that help them juggle different responsibilities within their own responsibility in the company. We've created systems and processes that keep people focused. We encourage people to be organized and disciplined. And then as a team, we learn how to juggle. We learn how to do more. We learn how to be able to be disciplined in different areas of the business so that when, a wave of activity comes in, anybody can step into anywhere and be able to do it. That's called learning how to juggle too. Well, that takes intentionality. It takes training. It takes awareness. It takes knowledge. It takes commitment. Same thing as it takes all of you guys. So you can juggle way more than what you think, but you got to start with 2 balls, right? You got to start and you got to figure out how to do that. And you got to be organized and disciplined, and you got to write things down and you got to check them off so that mentally you're in a good spot. Because I promise you this, how many balls you can juggle when you're mentally in a good spot, when you have confidence and motivation and you're pointed in the right direction and you're getting shit done, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. You will be amazed at what you can accomplish. But if you're all over the place, you don't have a plan, and you're just going into this Friday hoping for the best, man, I wish you the best. But it's probably not going to be the best Friday you've ever had if you don't have a plan and you don't have a to-do list and you don't figure out what it is that you need to do today for yourself, for your family, for the business that you are part of, for your community. What is it that you need to accomplish today? Write it down and check off the list and see how you feel at the end of the day. I hope this episode was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to DM me on anything that we talk about on this show. And I'm happy to provide you some resources, get you, Gary mentioned here, go back to the old day planners. I've got a planner that I use. It's very simple. It keeps me organized. It's got a to-do list in it. It's got time slots that I can schedule everything in. I also use a digital version of that, but I write everything down as well. I write down my goals every day. I write down what I'm grateful for. All that stuff is important. It's the foundation of how we function. Dan Hill, I use it digital, but it's still handwritten. So I use the Remarkable tablet with my planner in it. And that has helped for me. I know for a lot of people, they try to use iPads or going completely digital. I have to do both because I can't live without the digital version. I got too much going on, but I also don't find it as productive if I can't write things down and actually see that and know what I'm accomplishing. So hopefully that's helpful. But if you guys need a copy of that planner, feel free to DM me. I believe it's actually in my link tree as well. So if you go to Instagram, click on my link tree, you should be able to download that document from my link tree. It'll say Top Contractor School Planner in it. That's the one that I use every single day. So that's it, guys. Listen, it's Friday. Go out like a lion. Don't go out like a mouse. Play to the whistle today, guys. Make the best of this day. It's the only May 20th, 2022 you'll ever get. I appreciate you guys being here this morning, and I will see you Monday morning. Same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. I love you guys. I'll see you Monday.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.